Hey everybody, Sean Holsinger here again from holsingersflyshop.com, bringing you another video, another nymph pattern. This is one that I just come up with here the other day. I was out field testing it this morning and I caught a bunch of fish on it. I caught a really nice one. You can see the picture of it right here. Nice rainbow. And didn't know what to call it. Just kind of come up with it the other day. Was messing around trying to find something new, just playing at the device like I sometimes do. And so I said to my buddies, if you don't know, a couple of my buddies, we have an outdoor podcast that's called Rutten River Pursuits Podcast. You can find it on Stitcher, iTunes, a couple different places like that. So if you're into listening to podcasts, I'm going to give the guys a little shout out. I got a couple on there. One, we go into wet flies. We talk about wet flies pretty good. And so check them out too at RuttenRiverPursuits.com and Rutten River Pursuits Podcast. And I just joking around, we got one of the guys there, Phil. He always comes up with names for my flies. Usually I can't use those flies in the names in the videos, but he come up with a good one this time. We're going to call this one the Keystone Copperhead. Just it has a copper bead on it. And we're from Pennsylvania, so we'll call it the Keystone Copperhead. But real easy fly to tie. Another Perdigon style fly, just pink. And for some reason, it worked really well this morning. So give it a try, and here's how I tie it. Alright, this is the Keystone Copperhead. And like I said, real simple, another Perdigon style fly. And was doing real well for me this morning while I was out fishing, so I'm going to share it with you. What we're going to tie it on is another jig head hook. It's a H450BL in a size 14 from Hannock Hooks. Okay, the bead I'm using, copper bead. It's a tungsten slotted bead, 7/64 or 3mm. And I'm going to put just a couple wraps of lead, about 3 or 4 wraps of lead just to hold the bead in place. There we go. Okay, now we're going to use orange thread on this, fluorescent orange 140 denier, and it's going to bring your hotspot collar at the end, and it's going to put a little bit of color underneath my tinsel while I wrap it too. So that's part of the reasons why I use the color, that color as not just my hotspot but for the whole body. Okay, we're going to use some Antron yarn in fluorescent pink or hot pink. And we're going to put our tail on with that. Now you can start your tail out and make it a little bit longer and then trim it down to length wherever you want it. I don't use a very big tail. We're just going to wrap it back to above where the barb would be if this was a barbed hook. Okay, now the tail, about right there is where I want the tail. Like I said, I do not want a very long tail on this fly. And then we'll cut this end off. Okay, now I'm going to build up a little body with this and build a nice taper to this. What you want is, I want it, that's the thickness I wanted at the tail. And then I'm just going to taper it up so it smoothly tapers right up to the bead there. There you go. You want it to look about like a carrot in shape as you're looking down on top of it, and since it's orange it really looks like a carrot. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to use is a pink piece of crystal flash or Flashaboo, and then I'm just going to double it up. Oops. And then we're just going to wrap this back there to the tail. And then wrap your thread back up to the head. And then we're just going to wrap this pink Flashaboo up there to the head. And I like to double it up, make it a little bit thicker on there so it's more tinsel showing through. The orange will show through it very well, but whoops. Gotta keep a hold of it or it will slip out like that, and then you gotta rewrap it. That happens. Just unwind it and start over if you need to. It's gonna happen. Alright, now we're just gonna wrap this up to the head, get it the whole way up there. And I sometimes we use 2 instead of doubling this up. It's a little easier if I just use 2 pieces, but I do like to make it twice as thick, because when you do it like I just did it here, you kind of get a short tag at the end. You can see there how well, you can't really see there in the picture, but there you can see how short that tag is. It's a little bit hard to control. Alright, we're going to trim this off, about 3 or 4 wraps there, tie that down, trim it off, and then we're just going to make a small orange color here and blend it up onto the bead as best you can. And then we're just going to whip finish. This is like I said, this is a Pertagon style fly. It's made for getting you down fast, which it does. And this thing sinks right to the bottom. It's great for check nymphing. And I don't know what it was. We had clear water today, and it was a little tough fishing, but this fly caught me the majority of my fish, even over my black stonefly. And then I'm going to take some black nail polish, got a little bit too much on there, and I'm going to make a little wing case on the top of it here. Okay, you can see how I just make a wing case on the top of it like that. Now I'm going to set this on the side to dry. Okay, and then we're going to pick up one of my other ones that is dry, Magica TV, and then we're going to cover this up with some UV flow, and this will protect it. You can use, you know, head cement, whatever here. I use the UV flow because it's quick. And then you need to protect that tinsel. If you do not protect that tinsel, you can see how that thing glows with the UV. Maybe that's why it was so successful today. I'm not sure, but it really did work. That is all that is to that very simple fly. So give it a try. Put a couple in your box. It'll catch you fish like it did me, I'm sure. If you know how to do the Euro nymphing, and I really suggest learning. It's a very successful technique for fishing. So give it a try and try this fly. The materials you need to tie it, like I said, it's just thread, a little bit of Antron, and some Flashaboo, and the jig hooks, of course. And they catch lots of fish. So tie it up and check us out at the shop at holsingersflyshop.com. Thanks again for watching, everybody. I really enjoy bringing these to you, and I appreciate you guys watching them. I'm Sean Holsinger. See you next time.